You look like you could still give somebody 6 catches and 100 yards right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
What's life been like for you since retirement, which seems like it was yesterday? But like I said, I mean, you look like you're still in great shape and could go out there right now if you wanted to.
I mean, definitely. I've always, you know, I have this little motto. I stay ready, so I have to get ready. But again, you know, just not playing the game. Again, I think anybody that's played the game long enough and you take some time away, I think what you miss is the camaraderie, the competition. Definitely, like I said, I feel like I can play, and obviously now being a Hall of Famer, I think everybody has known that I've been very outspoken about the process, and so when I got the call, it was sort of bittersweet. But again, you know, there's not a lot of athletes can say that they're a Hall of Famer. And you think about the 300-something odd guys, my number is 317. I'm 317th Hall of Famer to be inducted, and so I'm going in with a great class. You think about guys that I played with and against, Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, Brian Urlacher, I think Jerry Kramer and Bobby Brethard and Brian Dawkins. Those are guys that are in our class, and so I'm very very excited. It really hasn't really sunk in as far as what it actually means, but I know it's a big deal, and it's a great deal to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and so I'm looking forward to the day that I'm actually inducted in, and you know, I'm starting already to kind of jot down and write a little bit of my speech, and you know, I'm going to be excited. It's really going to be more so of me just really giving back to my family, because they've sacrificed, you know, so much for me to be who I was on that football field.
Your last year, 15 seasons in the league, by the way, as a wide receiver, that's uncommon. I mean, for guys to play that physical of a position, one that requires speed and strength and
Right.
hands, obviously. 15 years, and that 15th year, you're on the doorstep of 1,000 yards. You caught 9 touchdowns as a Cincinnati Bengal.
Yeah.
Was it hard to figure out why you didn't get another chance after that, after showing that you could produce?
It's you think about what LeBron James is doing in his 15th year.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like when you talk about some of the greats that played exceptionally well, well into their 40s, when people felt like their skill set was declining, I feel like I'm one of those individuals. You don't have many of them. Again, even now, I still feel like I left the game, and I could have offered more to the game. Like I said, we have a lot of situations swirling, a lot of debate, dialogue with politics today. And I think, you know, if you look at what I was able to accomplish, especially as you said, you know, going into my 15th year, I still could have played the game. Still could have been playing at a productive level. So I could have at least played probably 3 to 5 years, and my stats would have been greater than what they are right now. So that's what's so bittersweet about it, because I know I could have played. But obviously, me being a household name, a lot of the things in terms of my reputation, a lot of the things in regards to my character, which obviously I get when you talk about the Hall of Fame, that was some of the reasons why they didn't induct me the first and second go around. You know, again, politics plays a big part in issues, and so in certain situations. So I really feel that was part of it.
With that in mind, would you do anything differently if you could go back in time?
I wouldn't say. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of things I probably could do differently, or I would have been able to communicate differently. Regret, no. But yeah, as we all look back on what we could have done 10, 15, 20 years ago, then yeah, we all can find, you know, situations where we could have reacted a little different, we could have communicated a little bit differently, and I think it could have been that way on the other side as well, with management, coaches, players alike. So I don't sit here and try to be without fault. Definitely, like I said, I wish I could have done some things differently, and I'm sure on the other side that they feel the same way.
You said you've jotted a little bit of your speech down already. When do you think you'll complete it, and do you have someone that you've assigned to help you with it, or is it going to be all Terrell?
No, most of the content will be mine. I have reached out actually to a couple of people that have reached out to me over probably prior to the induction of really helping me with my speech. So I'm just going to kind of sit and visit with them and kind of assess what they can offer to my speech, and really I want somebody to really help me and understand what I want to convey, what I want to get across. A lot of people, you know, they've already kind of speculated as to what I may be doing, what I may say, people I may go after. You know, I'm gonna try to do it as eloquent as I can. I'm pretty sure I'll probably take my shots here and there. So yeah, definitely get your popcorn ready. But no, like I said, I've reached out to a few people to try to help me, you know, organize the speech and really put it in a manner where it's tasteful and it'll be great.
But we're not talking Michael Jordan, Basketball Hall of Fame, going after people. We're not talking about that level, are we?
No, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go that route. But like I said, you know, obviously, I don't know what I'm gonna do at this moment. You know, at this present time, like I said, I have a few things in mind. Like I said, most of it will be really just me giving back to my family and really paying homage to and respect and being gracious to the people that helped me to get to where I was and where I am today. So I'm not going to spend most of my time, you know, taking shots and giving them the satisfaction of you know, trying to, you know, go take shots. But other than that, man, like I said, you know, this is a moment for me and my family, and that's how I want to go out.
You know, I ask this a lot when guys get inducted into whether it's a Ring of Fame, Ring of Honor,
Right.
For respective organizations, or in this case, when an entire sport celebrates an individual. You know, you have children
Right.
that will have children one day, and
Right.
it always is interesting to me whether the honoree understands that for generations to come, they're going to be able to go to Canton, Ohio, and see that bronze bust.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
And again, I've thought about that, and you know, especially with my approach to the Hall of Fame. And so again, there are some things that I'm doing that I will be documenting with my road to the Hall of Fame. And like I said, I've taken all that into account, and I think a lot of people that know me and probably have felt they've felt the disrespect the last 2 to 3 years of me not getting in. And so again, a lot of people reached out and like, man, take the high road, blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, I take all that into consideration, but at the same time, you mentioned my family, you think about the kids. And so I've definitely am a person that's never going to shy away from being candid, being open and honest. And I think my kids, you know, whatever the situation or whatever the case may be, whatever I may do, they'll understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Again, they'll know that their dad, their uncle, they did it, that I did it the way that I wanted to do it. I'm going to go out the way that I want to go out, and they'll understand that. But you know, first and foremost, you know, I wish my grandmother, you know, could be alive to see what she was able to instill in me as a little kid and as a teenager, growing up and going through college and making it to the professional ranks, and then ultimately becoming a Hall of Famer. It's something that I never envisioned, but I think anybody, any kid that's out there watching this, and parents, let your kids play whatever his or her passion is. You know, don't limit them to one thing. Don't put their eggs in one basket, because I think when you do that, you know, you set those kids up for failure. Because like I said, I played a number of sports and never knew that football would be the path for me to be sitting here in this seat talking to you today. So again, I realized that over the years that I've made an impact for a lot of kids that have looked up to me, just like I looked up to Michael Jordan, or guys have looked up to myself, Randy Moss, whomever their sports hero is. We all have a responsibility, and so I stand here in this seat today understanding that I've made an impact on the game. And again, like I said, I have a lot to give back.
Is this validation for you? I mean, complete validation. 8 years in San Fran, 2 in Philly, 3 in Dallas, then the ones in Buffalo and Cincinnati. Nearly 1,100 catches, nearly 16,000 yards, second all time, 156 total touchdowns, 6 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pro selections. Does this finally give you complete peace when it comes to other people finally viewing you the way that everyone should have from the beginning?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, it could have been better. That's the thing. It's like I said, it's bittersweet, because I know I could have played longer. I know my stats could. I know it wouldn't even be close. You know what I mean? Had I been given the opportunity to play and everybody not really dissected who I was as a person and really kind of really stained my character and my reputation, then yeah, I know I could have, like I said, it would have been a slam dunk. It should have been a slam dunk considering. But either way, like I said, I've always said, I think, you know, had I not got in this year, again, like I said, this is, I think, for the football world, this is validation that you are the best of the best. And so, considering I played behind the greatest of all time in Jerry Rice, you know, I'll always say that he's number one. I'm either 1A or number 2. You know, no disrespect to
the numbers basically prove it.
Right. So yeah,
I mean,
no disrespect.
certainly in terms of receiving yards, that's a fact.
Right. No disrespect to my guy Randy, who's going in with me, but we brought a lot of excitement to a lot of arenas and stadiums, you know, throughout our career. And so I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish. But like I said, I do feel like I still can play right now.
That's incredible. And how old are you? I'm
44.
And literally still looks like he could go out there and, like I said, give somebody 6 and 100 and a touch.
With ease. With ease.
You mentioned Jerry Rice, and obviously he was there when you were drafted by the Niners in '96. Is it hard to run through your mind the fact that 2 of the greatest receivers of all time, and by the numbers, again, by receiving yards numbers, the top 2 receivers of all time were on the same team at the same time?
Yeah, and I think just what I was able to accomplish with him on the field at the same time was, I didn't really understand what I was accomplishing, what I was doing. I think the time that I played with him, I think that was the first time that I think 2,000-yard receivers played on the same team together, I think, since him and John Taylor or somebody prior to that. Again, J.J. Stokes was looked to replace Jerry Rice. Right. So again, here this kid come from Alexander City, from UT Chattanooga. I stepped on the scene in '96, and again, I had some great coaches that saw the potential in me. The 49ers saw the potential of what I could become, and again, I just really took advantage of the opportunity. And so I don't consider myself a football player. I consider myself an athlete that was able to be coachable. And I think the coach that's going to be inducting me, George Stewart, he knows, like, that's a father figure. He knows, he saw what I could be. When he took over from Larry Kirksey of being our receiver coach, he pulled me to the side, and he saw what Jerry was doing, and he saw what I was starting to do, not only from a special team standpoint, but he saw that raw talent. And so I just worked hard at it, man. Like, my desire, my dedication, and my discipline, that's what allowed me to do what I did on that football field.
I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about Julio Jones. He's a guy that you guys are almost the same size. I mean, he's almost like a second version of you in terms of just body size.
That dude's huge.
His first year was your first year out of the league. How much have you followed him, and what do you think as you watch him continue to grow and develop as he gets ready now for his 8th year?
As a matter of fact, we just texted each other probably a couple weeks ago, and he's down at the University of Alabama. He's going to be training down there, and so I have a few ties there. I'm from Alabama, and so I'm going to be going down there to try to work out with him and probably teach him a few things and just train him a little bit. So I mean, you think about the talent. This dude is amazing. You saw what he did in the Super Bowl. I mean, he single-handedly almost beat them. This guy's radius for catching the ball is second to none. Very athletic. I think when you think about guys, the top 2 or 3 receivers in the league today, obviously he comes into mind, but I think the injuries is what has plagued him and what has prevented him from being probably 1 or 2. Obviously, you have Odell Beckham Jr., but number 1, you think about Antonio Brown. You think about the longevity and the consistency. I think that's what Julio Jones lacked, is that consistency of being on the field, and I think injury really has played a big part in that. But when you talk about the talent, he has it. I mean, and plus he has a quarterback in Matt Ryan. I mean, I wish I could have had somebody like that early on in my career. Again, it's all about putting this guy in a position to succeed. I mean, there's no question about what he can do with and without the football. He garners so much attention, and I think that's what he has to learn too, is that he can change the game with and without the ball. And so I learned that watching Jerry Rice. how I was able to benefit because Jerry was the #1 guy. Me being that second or third guy in the progression, I was able to eat. I was able to flourish as a second-tier receiver and blossom into something great. And so that's the thing. That's what separates the average, the good, and the great. And when you separate yourself like that, when you understand what you're capable of doing on that football field, and you have an organization, an offensive coordinator who knows, that's why I love Andy Reid. He's like the best coach that I had because he understood who I was, not just as a person, but as an athlete and how I could change the game. Julio is just like that. You think about Antonio Brown, think about Odell Beckham Jr. These guys, they're dynamic. They can change the game at any time. So it's all, and again, when you have guys like that, especially, you got to feed them. And that's what Andy Reid, he took advantage when I was there.
Julio also, by the way, also was able to kind of serve as an understudy to Roddy White. His first 5-6 years in the league, he had Roddy White there as the #1. So I understand completely where you're coming from there. We'll let you go with this. I know you're a huge basketball fan. And
oh, yeah, absolutely.
First of all, how much did you think about pursuing basketball as opposed to football? I know you said you played all types of sports as a youngster. How much did you consider going after an NBA career instead of the NFL?
I really should have took a stab at it. I mean, if I had one regret, that's the one I think I'll admit. I regret not really just taking that stab at it. Again, it would have been later on in my career, but again, just the same approaches I had with football, I would have done the same thing in football. I mean, in basketball, because I had no idea that I could be as good as I was in football. I think I was gifted more athletically. I was better athletically playing basketball than I was football. So when I got a scholarship to go to UT Chattanooga, I didn't learn that I had some basketball offers after I had signed the football scholarship. Because basketball comes right after football. So I had already signed the football scholarship to go to UT Chattanooga. So when I went to Chattanooga, my first year coach, Buddy Nix, he didn't allow guys that he recruited to play other sports. So I didn't, and then he got fired after my freshman year. So next coach came in, Tommy West. I won a total of 13 games in college, by the way. So that shows you, it tells you how terrible we were. But my coach came in after the season. I go into his office and I ask him if I can try out for the basketball team, and he said, those guys are recruited to play basketball. He said, can you really play? And I said, well, I played in high school. He said, that's a little different. And so he said, basically, yeah, if you can go out and make our basketball team, he said, that'll tell me what type of athlete you are. And so I walked on, as well as a couple other guys on the football team. Actually, the guy that I went to school with, Derek Hall, he didn't make it. I did, and I played 3 years of basketball. So I definitely feel like it. And I think it's a number of guys that I played with in the league, especially Shaq. He's seen my athletic ability. We played in a couple of charity events, and he was tripping because we were going through the layup line, and he was just throwing me alleys, and I was just catching, But I know it's more than just dunking, but he saw the athleticism. Right. So, again, it's just like anything. Like when guys go into the league, you see the athleticism, but then they have to develop those fundamentals. They have to become a shooter. There are certain guys, they understand their role. They're defensive guys. You think about the Draymond Greens, that makes that defensive presence. So I wouldn't have gone in thinking that, oh, okay, I could be a Steph Curry or Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan. You go in and you find your niche and how you can help the team. And so that's what I probably would have done. So I would have probably been like a journeyman. You look at the guys like Lou Williams, who's from this area. Yeah. Now, that guy's, they call him the professional scorer. Your Matt Barnes. Those are guys like that. I mean, these guys know how to play the game, and so
specialists, they carve out their role.
Exactly.
So
that's I definitely, like I said, what I would have been. I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been a 2010 guy. But again, if you want a scrappy guy that's gonna get you some hustle points, go in there, come off the bench, and bump and grind a little bit. Yeah, that's me.
I think you made the right choice, though.
You think so? I'm mad.
Going to Canton with a bronze bust and a gold jacket, you can't argue that too much.
Man, I could have played. I could have